This episode is about to get real interesting. I, first of all, have no plan for this episode. Usually I come into these episodes with, at the very least, some sort of bullet points or something to keep my squirrel mind on track. I'm going to do that today. What I want to share with you is part of the reason, if you're watching this on YouTube, you probably see I'm in a very different setting. I am on a bit of an adventure right now in the middle of Arkansas for 2 weeks by myself, caring for a dog, 2 cats, and 16 chickens. We'll get into the chicken thing later. Spoiler alert, I am fucking terrified of birds. So why did I leave my husband in Tulsa, say BRB, come to Arkansas for 2 weeks by myself in a tiny house and take care of a bunch of birds that scare the fuck out of me? Well, we're going to talk about that in today's episode. And part of the reason I'm making this episode, I don't know if I've ever really done an episode like this in the past, but part of the reason I'm doing this is because I am having so many conversations right now with fellow entrepreneurs who, I'll just tell you, I feel like I'm having a midlife crisis in my business. As you know, I just hit my 10-year anniversary in my business, and almost all of the other entrepreneurs that I'm talking with who have also had their businesses for 10 years are having a come to Jesus moment. They're having a quote unquote midlife crisis in their business. I'm going to tell you all about it. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to tell you why I think it's happening. I'm going to tell you what I'm doing about it. And I'm just going to give you the perspective of everything that's going on in my business right now in the hopes that you don't have to go through this at some point in the near future. So welcome to Big Goal Energy. I'm Bri Seeley, your hostess and tour guide for the day. Please be sure, if you enjoy this episode, to leave a rating or review, and I will see you in the episode. You were never meant for a small life. You have bold ideas, audacious dreams, and visions that keep you up at night. But the truth is, big goals don't come with step-by-step instruction, and success doesn't come from doing more. It comes from becoming more. Welcome to Big Goal Energy, a podcast for high-achieving women who are done shrinking, striving, and second-guessing, and are ready to defy reality in pursuit of the life they actually want. I'm your hostess, Bri Seeley, goal architect, subconscious strategist, and your permission slip to want what you want. Join me as we go beyond the surface level success to explore the mindset, identity, and inner work required to bring your biggest, most delulu goals to life. This is your space to be seen, to be expanded, and to remember that you are not alone on this journey. Let's get into it. All of this truly began probably around October, November, which is interesting because October is when I got married. November is when we had Success Becomes Me, my annual women's conference for my nonprofit. My frozen shoulder started really kicking up at that time, lost a lot of range of motion, was in pretty severe, chronic, spontaneous pain. Thanksgiving happened, Christmas happened, my sister had a baby, the new year happened, we went on our honeymoon. All of these things were happening, which also kind of distracted me from being in my business. When I got back to my business in January, I started realizing that I wasn't particularly happy. Now, what's interesting about this is that I also wasn't particularly unhappy. I was in this weird, middle purgatory state where there were good things happening, but things weren't great. And there were some not good things happening, but things weren't terrible. And I feel like that state for so many of us leads us to make excuses. Well, there's nothing really wrong, so maybe I'm just making it up. I shouldn't be feeling this way because nothing's wrong. And we make a lot of justifications and a lot of excuses. In the meantime, my shoulder was getting worse. I was doing a lot of healing work. I was working with an Akashic Records coach and a body worker and a Reiki healer and all of these things. And I just started to realize how the things aren't bad was actually sabotaging me, because I never want to compromise not bad for greatness or even for goodness. So in January, I started questioning everything. What do I love about my business? What do I hate about my business? What's going on in my day-to-day life? In the midst of all of this, it also started to feel like Groundhog's Day, which I do not do well with. I just don't do well with. Maybe it's my ADHD brain. Maybe it's my creative brain. I don't know. But I really started to feel like every day was wash, rinse, repeat. And I was not excited to get up in the mornings, which is not me. So I started doing things. I started a book club with some girlfriends. We started reading The Artist's Way, and I started tapping into my creativity. I learned how to open my own Akashic records and started meditating in them every single day. With The Artist's Way comes morning pages. I started writing every morning. I started reintegrating hypnosis, daily hypnosis, into my practice. And I realized that while the last 10 years of this business have been good, they truly, truly, truly have been good. I was very blessed to build a 6-figure business almost immediately when I started this business. The problem comes as a super, super, super ambitious soul is that I hit my first 6 figures and immediately moved the mile marker to 7 figures. And I just assumed that because I had done 6 figures fairly relatively easily, I would be able to fairly relatively easily do 7 figures. Those two pathways and those two journeys are not the same. It's not just more of the 6-figure pathway to get to 7 figures. Year after year after year of not accomplishing it and not achieving it, not being able to check it off my bucket list and then move my goalpost again, started getting really frustrated. And in that frustration, I started living more in the lack of the 7 figures rather than in the presence of the amazing 6 figures that comes to me so easily every single year. In the meantime, I'm wondering what's wrong with myself. I'm a very smart individual. Everyone perceives me as having my shit together. Why haven't I been able to do this? And does this mean that I can't do it? Or does this mean that I simply haven't done it yet? I was facing a lot of questions. And in this questioning, where a lot of people around my age do tend towards some sort of midlife crisis, because the questions just kept getting bigger. What is the purpose of all of this? Why am I doing all of this? If I were to take these past 42 years and replicate them to the next 42 years, would I be satisfied? And when you start asking these questions of yourself, you can't help but to answer them. And what I realized was, if I were to duplicate the last 42 years to the next 42 years, I would not be satisfied. I would be on my deathbed wondering what the fuck was wrong with me and why I didn't choose an easier path for myself to enjoy it a little more. So I have all these questions. I have these realizations that I'm not happy where I'm at. I'm also not unhappy, but I'm also not happy. I'm in this purgatory, Groundhog Day state. And I am simply the kind of person who can't stay there. Something has to shift. Because again, I'm not willing to repeat the last 42 years for the next 42 years. So what the fuck do I need to change and shift within myself, within my business, within the world around me to understand what this next chapter of my life looks like, what the next decade of my business looks like? If you heard last week's episode, Jen Rodriguez, brilliant, brilliant soul. We were in book club one day and I was kind of lamenting about some of these things. And she looked at me and she said, if you were the main character in a movie and your life was this movie and the you now is watching this movie, you're highly invested in the character, in her life, in what's going on. As the viewer of this movie, what would you want her to do next? Answer came immediately. Immediately, I heard, do not go back to Tulsa after Chicago. So I was going to Chicago for a retreat and then also to spend some time with a girlfriend. And the universe was very clear. My higher self, whatever you want to call it, my intuition, very clear. Do not go back to Tulsa after Chicago. If you're listening to this and thinking, I wish I had more people in my life who just get it, you're not alone. Big goal energy women are rare. We're the ones dreaming big, defying norms, and refusing to settle. And that is exactly why I created the Big Goal Energy app. But it's more than just an app. It's a community, a safe, supportive space where ambitious women like you and me can gather, grow, and go after our biggest goals without judgment. Inside, you'll find real-time conversations, powerful tools and resources, and exclusive content you won't get anywhere else. And yes, direct access to me to support you on your journey. Whether you're building, dreaming, shifting, or scaling, you don't have to do it alone. Come join us inside the Big Goal Energy app and surround yourself with women who dream as delulu as you do. Download the app now or visit briseeley.com/community to learn more. So now what? Well, first things first, after having this realization that I was not going back to Tulsa after Chicago, obviously I had to sit with that and really digest what does that mean? Because I can't go to my brand new husband of 6 months and say, I'm never coming home again, which I didn't think was the message. But the clarity I got was to go on Trusted House Sitters. If you've never used it, it's a brilliant website. I used to use it when I had Peaches. People would come and take care of her. I've now switched roles, and now I'm caring for other people's pets while they're on vacations. And I applied to a house sit, and I got this house sit in Mountain Home, Arkansas. And what I love about this house sit, a few things. One, it's obviously getting me out of my daily routine. If you are someone who is feeling super stuck and you feel like you're living in Groundhog Day and you're facing the same situations all day, every day, and your brain is not facing any new information on any given day, you have to find a way to disrupt it. I needed to find a way to immerse myself in the unknown, in situations, in circumstances, in places where my brain wasn't already filling in the gaps of what was going to happen based on old information, because I have no old information about being here. I've never been to this part of the country before. I've never been to this city. I've never cared for chickens before because I'm fucking terrified of them. And I had to remove everything about my known life to access the possibilities, to access new information, to be able to see myself out of a box that I was currently living in. So I was feeling stuck, and I knew that the only place to go, thank you, Dr. Joe Dispenza, is the unknown. The other thing that's been really helpful for me is being in the present moment, being here in the absolute, complete, utter simplicity of my only job every day is myself, meditation, journaling, exercising, feeding myself. I'm going to the red light. There's a tanning salon here. I'm not tanning. Don't worry. I'm not tanning. I don't know if you've seen my skin. I'm very white. I do not tan, but they have a red light booth there. And I'm having to get out of my own way because I'm having to take care of a dog, 2 cats, and 16 chickens, y'all. Which leads me to the last and final thing. I have had to put myself face to face with something that I deeply fucking fear. My friend Kala messaged me and was like, did something happen to you when you were a child? Probably. I have no recollection of it. The only thing I can think of, yes, I have seen the Birds movie, but I saw it when I was 16. That was not it. There was a movie when I was a kid that I watched called Return to Oz, and some of the characters in the movie are terrified of chickens. That's the only thing I can think. I have no idea why I'm afraid of birds. But I am putting myself face to face every single day with this crippling, terrifying fear that I have. I'm a week into my 2 weeks here in Arkansas, and I can tell you that I am starting to feel things loosen up. I'm starting to get more clarity. I'm starting to have answers to questions like, who am I? And what the fuck am I here for? And what are my standards for my life? Because the overworking and underliving thing that I really got in the habit of in the first 6-ish years of my business, I am no longer willing to live like that. That is not a life nor an existence that I am interested in perpetuating. That's not the vision that I have for my business. It's not the vision that I have for my life. I'm diving into things like, what is the frequency of how I want to feel every single day? How do I remember to feel that way every single day? What really, truly is important? The same questions that I ask my clients. If 20% of my energy and effort is producing 80% of my results, why am I doing the other 80% of shit that's not getting me anywhere? I have stopped and paused multiple times while recording this, which thankfully Descript is editing out so you don't have to hear the long pauses. And I'm really sitting here asking myself, like, who the fuck cares what you're going through right now, Bri? Like, why are you sharing this? Or what are people even going to take away from this? And I think the thing that I want you to know more than anything is that I realize that I come across as someone who has all of their shit together all the time, that I know what I'm doing, that I have a plan, that everything's always working out for me, which it is, but in a different way. And what I want to say to you right now is the biggest thing that I have learned coming into adulthood is that we are all just figuring it out as we go. We are literally all doing the best we can with what we have in any given moment. And personally, the only thing that I have put together consistently in my life are my puzzles. I am very confident and very assured and very able to guide a lot of people through a lot of things. And that doesn't mean that I'm also not questioning my path. And more than anything, these are the moments where it is so important to have the right people around us that can help us get through these things as well. I've been working with an Akashic Records reader. I've been working with a bodywork practitioner who's helping me release some of the physical attachments to emotions, to experiences that I've had. I've been on a cleanse. I'm working with a naturopath to help my body let go of so much of what I've held on to for the last 40 years. I am not naive nor stupid enough to think that I can do this all alone. I also have an amazing community of really powerful entrepreneurs, guides, and mentors around me who I have been having copious conversations with around what is the point of it all? How do we make change? Truly make change, lasting change in our life? How do we build the things we want to build without losing ourselves in the process? Like really, really, really fucking big questions. And so at the end of it all, I guess I'm sharing this with all of you to let you know that if you are facing an entrepreneurial midlife crisis, or if you are facing really big questions right now, which I think just kind of like culturally and politically, there are a lot of big questions being asked of us right now in our worlds. What are our ethics? What is our integrity? What are our core values? Like there's a lot that a lot of people are really sifting through right now in a world where we haven't really had to sift through a lot of these things up until this point in our journeys. So I share all of this to tell you, you're not alone. And if you're facing any of these questions as well, I promise that there are answers out there. Another Dr. Joe learning is that you can't receive an answer if you're still in the question. The question and the answer are two separate things that do not coexist. If you're in the energy of the problem, you cannot also be in the energy of the solution. The solution is out there. The answers are out there. My work over the next week before I go back to Tulsa is to sit and dwell in the energy of the solution, the energy of the vision I'm building, the energy of the life that I want to be living, the impact I want to be making, the legacy that I want to not only be living, but also leaving in the world. I know there was a lot in this episode. I hope that you found value in it. Just remember, even the people that you perceive to have it all together, we are also all questioning things all the time. We are in the pursuit of our own greatness and understanding what that means to us. This is probably another pivotal point in my journey where my definition of success is changing. I'm getting emotional. I wasn't expecting to cry on this episode. Anyways, you're not alone. The questions you're asking are not in vain. They're not ridiculous questions. I personally think that some of the questions I've been asking over the last week are some of the most important questions that I will ever answer in my life. And personally, I'm committed to this path. I'm committed to a path of greatness. And I'm just so grateful to be with you, alongside you on this path as well. So if this episode resonated with you in any way, please feel free to reach out to me. You can find me on Instagram at Bri Seeley. Please come join us on the Big Goal Energy app. You can tell me and the community there all about what you're going through, what you're facing, what you're experiencing. And we're all going to get to the other side of this together. I believe that we are at a very crucial, pivotal time in our world's history. And I just want to let you know I am doing everything in my power to elevate all of us, to find solutions for all of us, to see and understand how all of us can rise and thrive together. And I'm just really, really grateful that you're here with me. So please feel free to share this episode with anyone you think might resonate with it. And please, please, please reach out if anything in this episode resonated with you. I'm going to spend the rest of today coloring and journaling and meditating and answering more of these really big questions for myself and for us. Maybe I'll come back with an updated episode on this at some point. And until then, go live your big goal energy. Keep asking these beautiful questions. Keep dwelling in the energy of the solution. Get out of your own way. Go face a fear. Get into the unknown. Do something unexpected. And I will see you on the next episode. If this episode lit something up in you, share it. Text it to a friend, post it to your stories, or leave a review, because big goal energy is meant to be felt far and wide. And if you're ready to go deeper, explore the tools, hypnosis sessions, and support because your vision deserves more than hustle, join us on the Big Goal Energy app by visiting your app store and typing in Big Goal Energy. Your vision, your goals deserve alignment, ease, and your fullest self behind them. Until next time, trust yourself, dream bigger, and never forget, you are here for greatness.